Indeed, he will. You, me, everyone at Bloomberg, and obviously everybody in the markets today, we were all glued to 60 Minutes last night around 7 p.m. where we saw Michael Lewis unveil his latest book. Everyone's talking about it. Hashtag Flash Boys, out last night at midnight. Many people reading it in the wee hours. And like every Michael Lewis book, it is bound to change the way we look at Wall Street. Last time it was subprime bonds and credit default swaps. This time it is an inside look at high-frequency trading, HFTs. Here's Michael Lewis last night explaining what he found.
The insiders are able to move faster than you. They're able to see your order and play it against other orders in ways you don't understand. They're able to front run your order.
What do you mean front run?
It means they're able to identify your desire to buy shares in Microsoft and buy them in front of you and sell them back to you at a higher price. It all happens in infinitesimally small periods of time. Their speed advantage that the faster traders have is milliseconds, sometimes fractions of milliseconds, but it's enough for them to identify what you're going to do and do it before you do it at your expense.
All right, what's the takeaway? Quote, the stock market is rigged. That's an aggressive claim. I want to bring in Sal Arnuk. He's a partner, co-founder, and co-head of equity trading at Themis Trading. First of all, I'm going to let you put your tap shoes on and do the I told you so dance. How are you feeling? I mean, you've been making this claim, ringing this bell for 3 years.
Yeah, we've been talking about these issues probably since 2005 to 2007 when Reg NMS was implemented. So it's nice to see a storyteller like Michael Lewis take such a complicated topic and bring it down for mom and dad to understand in 12 minutes at home.
But is he bringing it down for mom and dad too much? I mean, for me, I struggle with the claim the stock market is rigged. Why today is it so much more rigged than when we had specialists 15 years ago? I mean, when Goldman Sachs paid $9 billion to buy Spearlead Kellogg's specialist unit, those guys were crushing it, killing it. Didn't they have a special advantageous position in the market?
And you are not alone in being concerned with this word rigged. If you were watching Twitter as the show was airing, there was quite a bit of outrage among those invested in the status quo about that very term.
What's a better word then?
I don't.
A fairer word.
I don't care what the word is. Whether you want to call it rigged, skimmed, extracted, extrapolated, taken away. The bottom line is, and here's the best part. This is not a book. We read the book. We got an advance copy of the book.
Oh, did you?
Oh, we were co-located. We spoke with Michael Lewis at length during his writing process of this book. It is not, once people read the book, it is not an indictment and all about vilifying high-frequency trading. It's about this complex, crazy system of enablers that are set up with all these conflicted interests to cater to this one class of traders above everyone else.
Hang on for just one moment. Michael Lewis made the point in his interview on 60 Minutes, and I'm sure goes into length about it in the book, that the problem is the system, right? The problem isn't necessarily that there are people taking advantage of the system. The problem is that it's like every system, right? It's got problems. There is no perfect system. And so well-capitalized, wealthy traders, in this case high-frequency traders, will prey upon those opportunities in capital markets.
Like they've done for hundreds of years.
Exactly,
and I agree.
they've done for hundreds of years.
And I agree, and high-frequency trading is neither good, it's not bad. They're not doing God's work. They're not providing liquidity to everyone out of the goodness of their heart. In good times, they'll be there and give you your penny spread in Bank of America for 100 shares. And in bad times, well, you know, different things and unpredictable things happen in bad times. It's not about high-frequency trading. It is about this system. And the system is set up to insert the maximum number of intermediaries between natural buyers and natural sellers.
But when we say the stock market is rigged, the finger gets pointed at the institutions, at the market makers, at the banks. When we say no one has confidence in the banking system, less people have money in the equity markets because they don't trust it. But who shouldn't they trust? The regulators? Or when I look at Morgan Stanley's Speedway system, do I think it's questionable? I think it's within the rules. And what banks have done all this time is figure out what the rules are and push the envelope. That's an arbitrage opportunity.
Great. And I agree. And this system is set up. The big banks and the dark pools have an incentive to get the maximum number of participants and volume in their pool for profits so that they can advertise. The high-frequency traders want to get in those pools and have moved substantially off the exchanges or in concert with their activity on the exchanges because everyone wants to touch the order. You guys said this earlier. Everyone wants to touch the juice. They wanted to touch the juice back when Goldman bought Spear Leads. They wanted to touch the juice in 1982. They want to touch the juice now. But this system is set up to perfectly and efficiently and in an automated way make sure they touch every bit of juice.
So here's the devil's advocate question, and you know these are coming, Sal. If, in fact, the system is designed to facilitate, as you say, the maximum number of intermediaries, why is it cheaper to trade today than it was 15 years ago?
Why is it cheaper to trade?
Because if you'd think that if there were more intermediaries, they'd all be skimming and it would be more expensive to trade.
From whose perspective? All right.
Well, that is the
Everyone
question.
talks about the retail investor as mom and pop, you know, buying 100 shares of Bank of America 4 times a year through their Ameritrade account. Mom and pop traded for $8 a share in 1998 on Ameritrade, right? It's not about that retail investor. It's about the vast majority of retail investors that are in pension funds, that are in T. Rowe Price, Capital Group, Brandis, Janus, you name it, all these big guys. And when they have to buy 1 million shares, and it goes into a broker or bank-sponsored algorithm that splits up that order into thousands of pieces throughout the day, and at every single point, those little, we call them child orders, those child orders, they touch everybody, and everyone wants to touch those child orders because they're predictable, they're slow, they signal. So is trading cheaper? Is looking at the spread a suitable concept to judge trading and whether it's cheaper? And I question that.
Do you believe IEX are the crusaders for honesty and the right way and the truth that Michael Lewis does? I mean, they've got Virtue as one of their biggest customers, and Virtue's the biggest HFT guy out there.
And that tells you that it's not about HFT. Let me tell you a little bit about these guys. All right.
These guys meaning IEX.
Meaning Brad, Ronan, Donald Bolerman. We worked with Donald Bolerman in Instinet, and Instinet has, you know, with the first, you know, the pioneers of electronic broker, first ECN. They have such a wonderful group of alum who've made it to be CEOs of exchanges and are very prominent in the industry. I am most proud of Donald Bolerman and what he's done because I remember him as a kid at Instinet. Brad and Ronan, when they came to our office when they were laying out their vision and how they were planning to adopt a free market solution, how awesome is that, all right, to an issue that's been suffocating the marketplace, we were, you know, once we got past Ronan's F-bombs, we were floored because they are trustworthy. Their integrity's there, and you come away liking them, and you come away saying, these guys have a profit motive, but they're going to create a clean system which invites all types of players in on a level playing field. We've been a supporter, and we were among the first brokers to sign up. Our clients enjoy, we don't trade on our behalf, our own behalf. Our clients enjoy large fills, meaty fills, without the typical reversion and all the other issues and the little latency arbs and all these built-in.
Well, why do you think Goldman changed their tune? For the first 7 months of IEX, Goldman wanted nothing to do with them. I don't know, the timing to me seems a little bit questionable. A week before this claim comes out, a week before Michael Lewis's book, they could potentially paint Goldman in their dark pool in a very negative light. They get in bed with IEX. Doesn't that seem weird?
It does seem weird. However, once you read Flash, and I'm not inside Goldman's engine and
No, just from your perspective.
But from my perspective, when you read Flash Boys, this is not something that happened a week ago or 2 weeks ago. They got on board well over a year ago. And there was a change. The two gentlemen there who are really in charge of capital markets really get and are buying in that the market first and foremost has to take care of the owners of the market, the long-term investors above the renters.
So if there's a market-based solution and it's IEX, is there anything to complain about anymore?
I'm feeling pretty good, and I'll tell you why. When we first started our crusade and speaking about all these issues, the unwanted touching in alleyways,
No one likes unwanted touching.
No
I
one
promised you that. Has nothing to do with capital markets.
Unwanted touching. I need to go. When we talk about when we've been talking about all these issues, I remember the first time we went down to the SEC to talk about them, and I came back so jazzed. I felt like, wow, this is, we're going to Washington. Mr. Smith goes to Washington. We're going to see change. And then Washington happened. And so we became quite jaded. So first of all, things have been coming in the free markets that are very positive for long-term investors. All these Heimbotic order types, the hide not slideys, things, those have been being addressed. IEX free market solution, we're feeling pretty good.
All right, Sal, you're going to have to join us again. I know, because we're going to be talking about this not all week, probably all month. Unwanted touching. This guy's the expert. God, I can't believe you worked that in. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Sal. That was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. He had a big weekend at Michigan. Big weekend. He went to Michigan, and the book came out huge.
My son, Billy. Congratulate Billy.
Congratulations, Billy. Michigan, you loved it, even on a great day. Sal Arnuk, he's a partner and co-founder at Themis Trading.
We've got much more on this.